10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2,
Manchester
1,
United have
0.
reached the promised land.
I don't know what I'm singing. How are we doing, everybody? It's Thursday, the 7th of July. Sam here, United People's TV, live and direct, like I am every single weekday morning, giving you all the latest Manchester United news. Well, I'm trying to anyway. Right now, it really is difficult to keep on top of it all, isn't it? With everything that's going on with De Jong, yesterday we spoke in depth on this show in the morning about that contract, about the deferred wages, and all of a sudden it's been reported by the BBC yesterday evening about the fact that these wages are the big hurdle. But you would have known that if you joined in United People's TV. Sometimes I know what I'm talking about. I'm going to cover all the latest from Mike Verweij on Lisandro Martinez and Man United's move for him. He's clearly wanting to leave Ajax. Man United clearly want him. Will he get done? I don't know. I'll put some Dutch energy on the wall. Not really sure how it's going to help an Argentinian join Manchester United, but you know what I mean. How are we all doing? Who's down here in the comments? Bruce, I can see you there. Roxy Dog, good morning to you. Claus, Sanka, Simon, Pete, I can see you there. Paula, good morning to you as well. Got Mike Taylor, Rego, Nathan, and all the regulars. Anuj, I can see you there. And Dogs Water, Daisy, Takeoff, Jay. So many of you this morning. Honestly, the community is growing on a day-by-day basis. Puts a big smile on my face because I think it's a genuine community. It's got real integrity, and I like it. And it's not losing that as it scales up. So I really appreciate all of you who are involved in it. But yeah, I'm going to run through the latest on Lisandro Martinez to start the show. Then I'm going to cover all these reports about Antony and a 60 million euro bid. You'll know full well that I didn't cover that yesterday. The news broke from Goal that Man United had put in a 60 million euro bid. And I was like, okay, that looks good. But let's wait and see who else reports it. Lo and behold, today, Mike Verweij is coming out and saying that the bid's not gone in. So it's not always a case of just being first to the news, jumping on it. You have to verify and corroborate it with other sources. I think it's because I'm in the YouTube space. I'm not sure there's anybody else who actually is a trained journalist. And that's something that's quite important to me is having that integrity. So sometimes I might not cover the stories, but I want to wait until I know that I can trust it. And it looks like my gut instinct was right on the Antony story. So I'll cover that bid or the lack of. We'll speak about Christian Erikson's announcement, update from Fabrizio Romano, and we'll speak about Frenkie de Jong in a little bit more detail after comments from Laporta yesterday. And we'll speak about Cristiano Ronaldo, and I'll answer as many of your questions as I possibly can. But so it's always difficult on Manchester United, isn't it? It always is difficult. And this summer is being absolutely no different. The Society, you're sending a super chat. What are you saying, sir? I know we're talking about De Jong, but hasn't Ronaldo signed a 20 million deal with Tezos? Why would he leave? Seems bad for business. What's the best case for this window? Has he? I don't know whether he signed a personal deal with Tezos, but Man United have signed a deal with Tezos, and that's part of our training kit now, although I don't really care about that. But I'll speak about Ronaldo later in the show. I said to you earlier this week, I said I don't just want to get caught up and just stuck in a Ronaldo conversation, and that's dominating it, because it's not the most important thing for Man United this summer. It really is not. We're going to have to probably sell him. We're going to have to just go, right, okay, he doesn't want to be at the club, and let's move on. But it's not the most important thing. I will speak about that later in the show. Let's go straight in with the update from Mike Verweij from the Telegraaf out in Holland on Lisandro Martinez this morning. And he's saying this, that Lisandro Martinez is pushing for Ajax to sell him for a realistic transfer fee. Both the 40 million euro offer from Arsenal and the 45 million euro offer from Manchester United have been refused. And you'll know full well that we covered all of that. This story here is from the 2nd of July. So this was 5 days ago. The Man United put in a 45 million euro offer for Martinez. He wants to leave. He wants it. I'm not sure whether he's going to put in a formal transfer request, but that is effectively there. It's a transfer request. It's Lisandro going to Ajax and saying, look, sell me. Please just sell me. He wants to move to the Premier League. And I've got utter confidence that given the choice between Man United and Arsenal, it's a no-brainer. There is no competition there. He will join Manchester United ahead of Arsenal. And I know full well that I could get clipped up here and it could well backfire miserably. But I've just got real confidence in my manager, if I'm being honest. I've not really got confidence in Manchester United. I've got confidence that Erik ten Hag is such a good coach and has been such an influential coach for Lisandro Martinez that he would want to continue that when he comes over to the Premier League. And that's just my gut instinct telling me that. But in terms of the actual factual news and the factual update, it's an important one. Mike Verweij here confirming that, Martinez doesn't want to stay at Ajax anymore. Because Ajax, if we remember right, when they came out with the story that Ajax wanted 130 million euros combined for Lisandro Martinez and for Antony, with an 80 million price tag on Antony, which is still insane, and a 50 million price tag on Mike Verweij. Now, we've offered 45, as we've covered here. As Mike Verweij mentions there, this was his report from 5 days ago. We're only 5 million euros short. I'll be honest, I'm a little bit surprised that this is taking as long as it is. But then it's Manchester United. But then, as this Frenkie de Jong transfer is showing us all, right? And I think it's a little bit different because the de Jong one is just so complicated with... it's not just about the fee, is it? Which we found out yesterday in real detail. It looks so simple to go, it's 45 million. Why don't you just offer more? Done deal. I think with this Martinez situation, that's probably pretty correct. We're not far off it. Personal terms won't be an issue. He's a good age. He's a good centre-back. There's questions about whether his height will be a concern in the Premier League. I'm not focusing on a player's height as to whether he's going to be a good or a bad signing or not. If my coach in Erik ten Hag thinks that Lisandro Martinez will cope in the Premier League and thinks that he will be a good signing for Manchester United, then I think he is right. And I will trust my manager with the instincts and the calls that he is making for the team and the players that he wants in the Premier League. With Martinez, look, as you say down here, so look, why are we haggling on 5 mil? As I said, on the surface, when you look at this, you go, why are we haggling over 5 mil? And it seems so simple, but maybe there's something behind the scenes about image, right? That you know what it is, the things that we're not privy to. Because on the paper, it looks very, very simple. But as we've seen with the de Jong situation, it's not really that much of an issue. And you're down here in the comments, I can see there. And so many of you talk about this. As I said, it's the natural point of pessimism of football fans in general. Instead of looking at a signing and being buzzing and just being excited about him coming in, it's like, what about this flaw? What about that flaw? And cool, you can call it naivety if you want. And it might be an issue, but I'm not going to get hung up on it. I'm not going to get hung up on it. And you don't win any awards for being correct. I told you 6 months ago that we were worried about his physicality. Look how right I am. It's that nobody wins. Nobody wins in that. I'm sure if Erik ten Hag thinks that his physicality will cope with the Premier League, I'm pretty sure Erik ten Hag knows more than us who have looked at his Wikipedia and seen that he's 5'9". All right. That's just what I'll say. So don't get caught up in it. That's what I think. So anyway, let me go down here and really cover your comments out here. Ali is saying too many sagas. Every time United are trying to sign a player. On the other hand, there's no point looking at the Haaland deal. The Haaland deal was a release clause, and they were willing to pay the 40 million in agents fees. It's a different scenario. The Nunez one is probably a comparable one because it was an overpriced player, and Liverpool just paid it. Just went, you know what? Yeah, I'm paying that. Done. Simple. And I think that's probably more comparable. But United are United. We've got a lot to do this summer. It was easy for Liverpool to go and spend 100 million on one player because they only really had to sign one player. If United only had to sign one player, it would probably be easy. We could probably go and spunk our whole budget on it. But we've got so much to do that we're having to negotiate and trying to stretch this budget out. I'll be honest, though. We haven't spent anything so far. You've got Pereira going out. You've got Malacia coming in. It's like for a net total of 2 to 3 million. Mike, you're joining as a member. Let me know where you're watching from, buddy. And I appreciate your comments, buddy, but stop leaving such massive long comments because they do keep distracting me. All right. And yeah, as I said, if Erik ten Hag thinks he's good, then Erik ten Hag. I don't give a shit what Rio Ferdinand thinks. I trust Erik ten Hag. Simple as that. Anybody else who wants to mention physicality with Martinez, don't waste your time. I'm not answering your questions anymore. And Daisy, you're down here in the comments saying, look, exactly, we've spent nothing. We need to get this stuff done. Hey, look, I've told you there, and I've stood by this, right? Well, I think we're going to be happy at the end of this transfer window. I've said that since day one. I hope I'm right. I really do hope I'm right. But obviously the Martinez one for me is quite an important one. And that's why it's good to hear that he's pushing for a move away from Ajax. I think that's really important. Because if he was like digging his heels in, not digging his heels in, but if he was sitting there going, yeah, that's all right, I'm happy here, then it would give Ajax more power to stay firm on their pricing. But because it's 5 million difference, it's minor. I told you I would be surprised if United hadn't, if the next piece of news wasn't a deal being agreed. And I stand by that because we're so close on that price tag. The player wants to leave. Ajax know at this point they're probably going to have to sell. Antony one, I think we're kind of not wasting our time, but I think you'd be wasting your time if you really wanted Manchester United to sign him. And I'm going to go and explain that in a little bit more detail. Mike, here's your first comment, buddy. What are you saying? Pay the extra money and get the players in. Our net spends around 2 million once Pereira leaves. It's a very poor window so far. As I said, I don't know. I've said it a million times now. I know it's been a poor window so far. That's why Tom Keane was brought in, because Man United really couldn't get things done. But there is still time. Ideally, in a dream world, you get all your signings done before the preseason starts. That's a dream scenario. Chelsea haven't done that. Arsenal haven't done that. Spurs have done quite a lot. City, different. They've done that, but City are different. As I said, don't compare anything to City and Liverpool. On every single scale, they are different football clubs at the moment. Let me go down here and see what you're saying. Ajax will definitely sell. Of course Ajax will sell, man. Of course Ajax will sell. And Natty, I wish I could share your optimism. Look, man, you have to be optimistic. You have to be optimistic. Football has this incredible ability to, every single year, they make you think that something's different. That they make you feel that, I don't know, that the next season will be very different. I can see lots of people mentioning Or in the comments here. And it seems like, Or, are you taking over from, let's have a look. What the fuck? Or, put the drink down. Put the drink down. What is going on there? Wow. Everybody. Or's one of the OGs of the channel. Everyone loves Or. Or's been working very hard. Mate, that's a very nice, brilliant gesture there. 50 memberships. My word. Jesus. That's caught me by surprise. But what a bloke. What a bloke indeed. Jeez. Almost choked this morning while eating breakfast and listened to your podcast. That story, man, was funny. That story was funny. Anybody who hasn't listened to the podcast, you have to listen to the podcast. We'll try and get an update on it next week. But Alex, we'll leave that to the side. But honestly, man, going back to what I was saying there, thank you very much for that, buddy. And that's what this community is about. It's a genuine community. The Telegram, I'll say it now, if you're not on there, I would really encourage you to go over there. It's a very inclusive place. It's a place where it's easy to join in and not know anybody and then just get involved in the conversation. If you're a member, and now there's 50 extra members, right? All the members there. Oh, man, that really is such a generous thing you did there. Thank you very much for that. There's the link for the community. Anybody who's been a membership, anybody who's just got a membership, follow the community tab. You can join the Telegram and join the members only chat. There's 50 more of you there. God, maybe you get one day, my friend. Maybe you'll get one day. But look, let me move on now. That really did distract me, but in the best possible way. Thank you very much. Or I'll say that one more time. What an OG, or just what a G, really. Antony. The story came out last night about Antony, didn't it? The fact that there was a £60 million bid. 60 million euros, £51 million bid. This came from James Robson from Goal. And everybody, not everybody, a lot of people were like, boom, straight away. Stretford Paddock covered it. Look, and I want to quickly say this before I do jump into this. How any channel operates is completely and utterly up to them, right? But it's this sort of thing. It's covering this as a like breaking news. Man United have bid for Antony. It's these sorts of to lead with that headline is what fuels frustration, because people now all of a sudden think that we've bid 51 million for Antony. You look at it and you go, okay, let's see how this develops. It's a bit strange to see that only James Robson knows that. But I'll show you exactly why I held off on it and exactly why I've been proven correct and why you have to be responsible in how you report things, because otherwise you can really just fuel frustration. Connor, you joined the gang as well. Let me know where you're watching from, my friend. Mallow, you're saying nice pitch change on the wall. Yeah, got to get Rude on, man. Got to get Rude. But look, this happened yesterday. And I was like, I mean, 51 million bid, that's quite a big bid. Is that really the case? Go over and read the article. And if you look at the byline here, you've got James Robson here who's reporting it on Twitter. And it's his name that's been taken across all of Twitter with this story. And I look at this and I go, Thiago Fernandez, who's he? I go and have a look. Thiago Fernandez doesn't work for Goal. He works for Goal Brazil. So the story there is coming from the Brazilian side, of course. Antony Santos, he came from Brazil. He's Brazilian international. So that's where these reports are coming from. And then we wait until this morning and we hear this. This is from Mike Verweij, who is as close to Ajax as you're going to get. When it comes to news, when it comes to Ajax transfer news, Mike Verweij is your tier one, if you want to call it that. He's the man closest to it. Reports from England that a 60 million offer has been placed for Antony are false. He has a fictitious price tag of 80 million, and I know that, you know that. There's no way anyone's paying 80 million. It's totally quiet around the right winger for now. The fact that he's still recovering from a knee injury can be an advantage for Ajax. And that is precisely why I didn't cover that story yesterday, because I could have easily. I was around. I could have gone live with a video on the Antony situation. But it's jumping on a story like that a little bit too early because you want to be first. You have to be first. You don't have to be first, but people think you have to be first. And that's what I mean. That it's situations like that which fuel frustration among fans, because all of a sudden people now think that we put in a 60 million bid for Antony. So if nothing happens on Antony in the next couple of weeks, it just fuels that fire. That's what I think. So anyway, and by the way, 80 million. I'm not sure what you think about it, but there's an absolutely sweet FA chance that we pay 80 million for Antony. Even 50 million for Antony is a bit steep. Probably not that unreasonable. But when you see Raheem Sterling, Premier League proven, Premier League champion Raheem Sterling going to sit from City to Chelsea for £45 million, Premier League tax, English tax, all sorts of taxes on top of that, for £45 million. And we're hearing that it's like a 50 million plus bid that we're putting in for Antony, which we haven't put in, by the way. But an 80 million euro price tag. It's a lot of money. What do you think is a fair price for him? Because it's not 80 million euros, is it? It really is not 80 million euros. You let me know what you think in the comments. It seems like we've got gifted memberships flying out left, right, and centre. Let me get my phone out. See if I can pull the stream up. Because where I see the stream, I can't see that. So I need to open the stream itself. My God, it is Christmas down here, people. What is going on? We've got Josh Povey. You've gifted 5 memberships as well. Man, what a guy. Not just you. You've got Stu Backer. I recognise that emoji. How you doing, Stu? Thank you very much, buddy. And you've got Beaver Knight. We've got 65 memberships being gifted today. Jeez. It is absolutely Christmas down here. The community is not just growing now. The community is going absolutely mad. And it's nice to see. As I said, I've built this. I feel like I've built this community on integrity, and it's coming through with the people who are joining in, with the conversations that all is happening in the comments. There's no trolls. It's just United fans looking for information and having an actual decent chat. And that's what I want it to continue. The bigger it gets, it doesn't matter. I want it to always stay at this point. But big up to every single one of you for making this happen. Radu, that's a good point there, if you're correct. You're there saying, look, Ajax has to pay 20% of the next sale of Antony to Sao Paulo. That would therefore be the exact same reason that Benfica inflated the price tag of Darwin Núñez, because they had to give 20%. Where did they sign him from? Somewhere, is it Sociedad? I think it's some Spanish club. But they owed 20%. So they inflated the price because they wanted to get more of it. But let me see it down here in the comments. You're saying 55 million for him. Let's say what, 40 million. It says Vinny from Oz. 45 for Antony. 40. Somewhere between 40 and 50 feels like a reasonable expectation of a price tag that wouldn't be insane for Antony. But the reason that 80 million euros has been placed on him is because Ajax don't want to sell him. Same way that West Ham put 150 million on Declan Rice. He's not worth 150 million. West Ham know he's not worth 150 million. They put that price on him because they didn't want to sell him. And if they did sell him, then Well, they want a ridiculous amount for him. A bit like Jadon Sancho in that summer. There's so many examples of it. But Ajax know they're not getting 80 million. But I do feel for Ajax. They're basically trying to put a ridiculous price on him. It's like, can you stop buying our players? Can you please just leave players in this team? Because they've lost Mazraoui and Gravenberch. They've lost their manager, their assistant manager. They're going to lose Tagliafico. He's pushing for a move away. Edson Alvarez is available for 30 million euros. He's probably going to be moving away. Sebastian Haller's already moved to Dortmund. There's going to be like an unprecedented amount of movement out of that team. Probably that summer where they sold De Jong and De Ligt, and then they sold Van der Beek the next summer, I think, as well, and Ziyech. Those 2 years were a lot of change, but they still had their manager. They still had Erik ten Hag. They've lost their manager, and they're losing all these players at the same time. My God, it really is raining memberships down here. What are people doing? Effendi Senin, you've gifted 10 as well. And who's this over here? Warren. Big up to you, Warren, man, my friend. It is absolutely raining. Everybody's in a good mood today. And I tell you what, thank you very much for that. You're just helping the community grow. That's awesome. I've put a huge smile on my face. Look, that Dutch energy has come through. Big up to every single one of you, man. Like, you're all helping the community as much as I am. And that's wicked. That really is amazing, man. I don't know what to say. You're kind of making me speechless here this morning. But we'll move on to the next talking point. Jesus, you kind of made me lose my chain of thought. That's awesome, man. I'll say it one more time. Anybody who's just been gifted a membership there, come and join into the community. The Telegram, you can use the I always point to the wrong direction. The QR code is down there. You can scan that with your phone. If you can't, I've just left a link in the comments on YouTube and Facebook. You go over there. It's free to join. Telegram, it takes like 2 seconds. It's just an app to install. You can go down there. But if you remember, check out the community tab on YouTube. There's a special link on there that will take you to the private members channel. If you're on Facebook, check out the Facebook members group because the link will be in there as well. Anybody who's asking how you get a gifted membership, you don't. It's basically YouTube decides who to gift them out to. I don't choose. Just to let you know. James is saying, love the channel. I watch it. As I say, man, big up to everybody who's here, who's joining. And Adio, yeah, you've got one, my friend. Welcome aboard, man. As I said, Warren, Stu, every single person. I'm sorry I've forgotten you. Actually, no, let me click there. Let me find out the names again. We've got Josh Povey. We've got Warren Davids, and Effendi. Thank you very much, every single one of you who have gifted memberships out. Absolute G's of the channel, man. Let's get this on. Let's get this cracking today. Now, yesterday, you'll know full well that we had a conversation in the morning about this. I did a separate video on it later in the day as well. I said, look, for me, this feels massive. And I said, and I took a really in-depth look at all these numbers. So if you haven't watched it already, go onto the channel. There's a video where I've explained everything about De Jong's contract, the money he's owed, and how that's probably a significant factor in everything that's going on right now. And all of a sudden, yesterday evening, you've got James Ducker from the Telegraph and you've got Simon Stone from the BBC, both reporting that it's these deferred wages that are causing a massive, massive holdup. Basically, in a quick summary of the video, De Jong took a pay cut in 2 consecutive seasons through COVID to help Barcelona. There was one enforced 10% pay cut on every single member of the Barcelona squad. And then the year after, he dropped his wages from 14 million euros to 3 million euros. And then the year after that, he dropped it from 14 million euros to 6 million euros, which means that he is owed 16 million. No, is it 16 million? Or is it 17? He's saying 17 million. That's also in bonuses too. 16 million euros in deferred wages that are going to be paid to him over the next few years. And that's what these lines show. These 18 million, that means that over the next 4 years, he's going to be paid back that money he's owed, as well as bonuses, right? This is the crunch point. And this, for me, I'll be honest, I don't like it whatsoever. I'll be totally honest. I think there's a real chance now that this really drags on. Because basically, you've got this going on, right? You got Barca's president Laporta saying this. Frenkie de Jong is a Barcelona player. We don't want to sell him unless we have no other choice. Of course, we know there are offers for de Jong, but we don't want to sell him. And he's just lying. A bit like Boris Johnson's lying, who's resigning, by the way. Can we have a little round of applause? Boot him out the door. Just give him a little headbutt as well. I don't condone violence, but you can definitely headbutt Boris Johnson. Anyway, back to it. Barca's president there, an elected politician, lying through his teeth because they've been dealing with Manchester United the entire time. I really feel sorry for de Jong at this point in time. De Jong is effectively what he's done. De Jong has helped Barcelona through the COVID period because he loves the club. It was his dream club. He never intended on leaving. He deferred a huge amount of his. I know that in reality, you can just say, Sam, what are you talking about, man? He's still a millionaire. Oh, poor Frenkie de Jong. He only earned 9 million euros over 2 seasons. Oh my God, what a poor guy. But just don't look at the scale of the numbers. Look at the percentage drop. It's like you go into work and you haven't done anything wrong, but your boss comes to you and says, look, we're financially a bit screwed. I know you love your job. I know you love the business. Can you take like a 75% pay cut for 1 year? Because it will really, really help us get back to where we want to be. And you love the company and you're like, okay, right, yeah, I'll do that. And then you agree with them, say, look, that will just be paid back to you. You're not losing these wages. You're just deferring it for a couple of years and then we'll give it back to you. And you're like, right, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I'll do what I can to help the club. And then the club just turns around, just like starts sticking 2 fingers up at you and just want to sell you and want to get out of those deferred wages. You're like, hold the front door. Like, what are you doing here? So this whole idea that we've heard of Frenkie de Jong is happy in Barcelona. Yeah, he might be happy in Barcelona, but he's also owed 16 million by Barcelona. And he knows full well that if he leaves the club, he will probably lose out on that. Or at least get embroiled in some sort of legal argument with Barcelona. And that's not what he wants to do at all. So that's the situation, right? Look, as I said, Matt, all Frenkie de Jong has ever said is he wants to stay at Barca. Matt, if your boss owed you, what's that, over a year's salary, do you think you want to stay at that job or do you think you'd be walking away? Because I imagine as soon as Frenkie de Jong comes out and says, I want to leave the club, then he probably loses a bit of that. I say he'll certainly lose the loyalty bonus and any gain to those. And there might be some sort of legal loophole where if he does put in a transfer request, he'll lose out on the ability to gain those wages back. And as Neil says down here, this is exactly what's going on. You're just witnessing a politician being a politician. We've had to watch it, or anybody in the UK anyway, we've had to watch it with Boris Johnson lying through his teeth for so long until it finally it's coming home to roost today and he's resigning. Although he's going to be deputy, caretaker leader anyway, arsehole. Laporta is an elected politician trying to save face. And they are using Frenkie de Jong as the cannon fodder. They're using Frenkie de Jong as the shield to protect them. Whereas ultimately, this is Barcelona's undoing. This is all Barcelona's fault that they've screwed the finances so much. But instead of accepting that responsibility, they're putting it all on Frenkie de Jong. I think it's massively unfair for a player who's done nothing but good things for that club, who's never really spoken out about that club in a bad way about that club. It's incredible. Knighton, there's more gifted memberships coming down here. This is absolutely, I've never seen this in my life. And maybe everyone's in a good mood because Boris Johnson's resigning. Knighton, you've gifted 5 memberships as well. This really is absolutely incredible. Thank you very much to every single one of you for helping this community continue to grow. So make sure you drop a like on the video for everybody who's gifted a membership, especially your. That's a very generous thing you did there, Raw Man. Thank you very much for that. And it's good to see you still around, alive. Yeah, both. How you doing? Look, let's move on to a couple more announcements before we then focus on Cristiano Ronaldo. And I know lots of you want to be speaking about Cristiano Ronaldo, so I will do that. You got Fabrizio Romano here confirming that contracts are being checked by lawyers, and then Christian Eriksen will be unveiled as Manchester United's new player. Hopefully, we get that today. Hopefully, we get the here we go. I think, well, I've already had the here we go with Eriksen. Hopefully, we get the official announcement for Eriksen today. We see him there in his new shirt at the training ground with Erik ten Hag. I'm excited. I really am excited about the signing of Christian Eriksen. I know that so many of us are rightly frustrated over Frenkie de Jong, but in isolation, Christian Eriksen is a top level signing. It really is a very, very good, very smart free signing by Manchester United. With the sort of player who actually loves possession, who loves to receive the ball. And we don't have many of those in the squad, and it's changing that approach. And he's the perfect backup to Frenkie de Jong. And arguably, you could see him in the starting 11, depending on the formation, depending what happens, and depending how we use the team. But look, it's fantastic. People keep talking about there can't be more memberships being handed out. Oh God, my phone. What's my phone doing now? My phone's going crazy. Let's have a look. No, there's not at the moment. Good. Right. Well, not good. Not that I'm saying it's a bad thing, but look, I haven't missed anybody out. Who will get the number 7 shirt? That's going to be another conversation that we have to have. We'll speak about that further down the line. But look, I'm excited about Christian Eriksen. I think you should be too. If we were to scroll over here, this is something you should be equally as excited about. Today, we should probably get 2 announcements. Number 1, Andreas Pereira going to Fulham on a permanent deal. That's 10 million coming into the club for Pereira. It's fantastic news. Rising to 13 million. That's really good business by Man United. So we should hopefully today get the confirmation of Pereira to Fulham and confirmation of Eriksen coming into United. That'll be a decent Thursday. Not everything that we want. We still want Martinez and we still want De Jong, but good all round in that sense. And if you're looking at that being good, this situation, it's starting to smell a bit. I mean, it kind of smelt a bit straight away, really, and it doesn't look good. Now, the thing that you will notice from me with my feelings towards this Ronaldo situation is I'm staying reserved at the moment because we're being told that Ronaldo is staying away from Manchester United for family reasons. Now, I know it's easy to put 2 and 2 together and say, oh, that's coincidental. Yeah, he may well be using that. It seems like for someone who's been such a consummate professional his entire life, well, apart from when he said he was a slave of Manchester United, maybe not his entire career, the majority of his career, there aren't many better professionals than Ronaldo. It doesn't look good. And you got Charlotte Duncan there for the Times saying that Manchester United, we're still in the dark about what's going on with Ronaldo. And the thing with this situation, right, is if it was anybody else, Aaron Maguire, Fred, Alex Telles, any other player, be getting slammed. Absolutely slammed. Ronaldo gets a bit of leeway because Ronaldo is Ronaldo, right? But we need to get clarity on this. I suppose the clarity is coming tomorrow. And I think we know what the answer is. There is no way that Ronaldo is going to be on that plane that leaves tomorrow. I'll be so surprised if he's on that plane. I don't think you think he'll be on that. Type yes or no. Do you think Ronaldo will be on that plane tomorrow? Leela, I thought this was a bit of a massive, massive, massive overreaction. And you're saying Rio said he's spoken to Ronnie and one of his family in Portugal is very sick. Yeah, that's what I mean. Assumptions are dangerous, people. If Ronaldo said that his family reasons, there's something going on there. You have to give him the benefit of the doubt in this sense. Of course it does. When it comes to family comes first. That's just the case. But back to that Maguire tweet, as I said, I thought that was a huge overreaction because he might have done it by accident. I mean, probably did do it by accident. But also that can be construed in 2 different ways. But either way, Simon Stone from the BBC confirmed that he didn't mean to do it and he's undone it. But if you're gonna lose your shit over a football player liking an Instagram post, you need to reassess yourself. That's called getting involved in the hype too much. That's what I think so anyway. But going a little bit deeper into this Ronaldo story, he's not going Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich director Oliver Kahn said, look, as much as I appreciate Ronaldo, he's one of the greatest players of all time, a move would not fit our philosophy. Honestly, Ronaldo's not going to have many options. which makes this whole situation that little bit more strange. Because you would imagine that a man who is as experienced as Jorge Mendes, who is effectively the super agent, that he wouldn't have just come out and said Ronaldo wants to leave without at least having a few things lined up. Now, Bayern Munich's off the cards. He's not going back to Juventus. I don't think Real Madrid are going anywhere near him, and Barcelona can't afford him. You could go to technically Inter, but are they really going to? You could technically go into the Serie A apart from Juventus, but not particularly. And it's only really, and we know this, it's only really Chelsea. So you got Pete Rourke. Does he actually write for Sky Sports still? Freelance sports journalist for hire. Well, we can just leave that one there. But you're starting to get murmurs of a bid from Chelsea. And I'll be honest, I'll ask you in the comments, right? If it's not Chelsea, where do you think Ronaldo could go to? Honestly, I'll be very interested to know the answers in the comments here. Like, really think about it before you say it. Don't just shout Sporting Lisbon, because I just don't think that if we talk about Ronaldo leaving Manchester United for ambition, is he really going to go to Sporting Lisbon at this point? No, he clearly feels that he's ready and still able to compete at the very, very top. But if it's not Chelsea, I don't really know where else he goes. Roy the Red, how you doing, buddy? Ray the Red, sorry, not Roy. Let me know where you're watching from. I'll try and give you a shout out. Craig, you're saying Roma. Roma's possible, but are Roma really going to pay the wages? That's probably the biggest sticking point for basically any team. And it rules out like 90% of teams. PSG, they could afford the wages, but they're not going to be signing Ronaldo. They're moving away from the quote-unquote bling players. And Mbappe, after they've signed him, they probably got no goddamn money left. Stinks because if it's Chelsea, it will hurt. Yeah, it will go. It will hurt. It will really hurt. Wouldn't hurt as much as City, of course. Lots and lots of you are mentioning PSG down in the comments. I don't think PSG could technically afford him, but it's not happening. Chelsea, AC Milan, a few shouts for Porto. No, Napoli. But again, as Antony say that, it's about the wages. I don't think so. And again, if you're talking about ambition and Champions League, what, he's going to go piss off to the MLS and join Jesse Lingard? No, he's not. There's nowhere really for him to go other than Chelsea. And it effectively means that we're going to have to deal with Ronaldo going to Chelsea. That forces United fans into a pretty horrible situation that none of us want to be in. But that's a situation which is likely happening. And I don't think he's got many other choices. This was my initial instinct. My initial instinct was Bayern Munich. It makes sense. Lewandowski leaving, bringing Ronaldo in. I can see that happening. But I don't think that is going to happen. Oliver Kahn, as I covered right there, he's saying, look, as much as I appreciate Ronaldo as one of the greatest of all time, we can't sign him. He's too old for Bayern Munich. It's outside of their typical transfer policy. So as Deb's put down here, PSG and Bayern, they've both already said no. You're saying Madrid. Okay, right. Type yes or no in the comments. Do you think there's any chance that Ronaldo would go back to Madrid, given what he's done already at the club, and B, that Madrid would want Ronaldo back? Type yes or no, because I personally don't think so. I think Ronaldo has created such an invincible legacy at Real Madrid. There really is no reason to go back to that club. And they've just won the league and the Champions League as well. Or maybe that's exactly why he would go back. Ronaldo and Neymar together. Thoughts on... Of course he's pissed off about it. I'd be pissed if I got a 25% pay cut, I'd be pissed off. But also, if I've been... And with Ronaldo, it's like Ronaldo wasn't shit last year compared to the rest of his teammates. So he probably feels that he put a lot of the work in, but no one else matched that level, and now he's getting punished for it. And in that sense, you can understand. Schmeichel going City, I'll never forgive him for that, ever. Schmeichel, I loved Peter Schmeichel. Just as a kid growing up, Schmeichel was just such an... And for a goalkeeper to be that much of an icon was incredible. But yeah, him going City, fucking no reason as well. He didn't go straight from United to City, but it's just like, what's the point? Why would you do that? And I don't think he really understood it. Lots and lots of you down here, and I'll be honest, the majority of you do not think that he'll go anywhere near Real Madrid or that Real Madrid will go anywhere near him. And I'll be honest, I completely agree. I really think two things with this Ronaldo situation. Number one, Ronaldo's leaving Man United this summer. I'd be very surprised at this point if it doesn't end up in that. Number two, I think he's going to Chelsea. I do not see anywhere else that would A, pay the wages, and B, that would, if he's talking about ambition, that would match that ambition. Although he's got no chance of winning the Premier League anyway. So you let me know what you think about that in the comments below. But I'm going to have to cut today's stream a little bit short because I've got to go out on a quick errand, a trip. Don't know what you want to call it. But look, I want to say one more time, thank you so much for that generosity there. 50 memberships. What a dude. And for Warren Davis and for Josh Povey and for anybody else, I apologize if you've gifted memberships. But thank you very much to everybody here today for gifting that wonderful generosity. And I'll put it in the comments one more time. Anybody who's become a member and you haven't already joined the community, if you're not a member, if you're a normal subscriber, come and join the community. But if you're a member, there's a special members only group and the link's on the YouTube community tab. Follow it from there. And if you're on Facebook, go to the private members group and you can follow it from there. But I'll wrap this up for today. I'll be having a video coming out at lunchtime as always. Maybe 2 videos today if Erikson gets announced. But have a cracking day. Thank you for everything this morning. And I can't wait for this community to keep growing and growing and growing. It's wicked. But thank you very much. And as I say, big up to you, my friend.